The great mysteries of the Harry and Meghan, romance, whatever you want to call it, is, as I've often said here on the show, it's all about, this three in that marriage, as they're not. Also, it appears, throughout that docu-series for Netflix, you really only saw three predominant people: Harry, Meghan, and this. Doria. Yes, Doria is allowed in the inner circle, Her father, Thomas Markle, her half-sister, Samantha, not other family members, nowhere to be seen. Obscure friends popped up. No senior members of the British monarchy were shown in any capacity of being nice about the birth of these two children, which even now, some people suggest, remains something of a dark mystery. Now, what's interesting here is exactly just how integrated was Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, within her short tenure of the British monarchy. And as ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you, and thank you so much for joining me today. By the way, let me just point this particular fact out. Yes, you see, because it's come to that time of year where we find out exactly who are the hardest working royals. No, we're not talking about Harry and Meghan. They only do an hour a week for their charity. Yes, and I use that term loosely, their charity as well. It will come as no surprise that the hardest working royal, yet again, we should have a fanfare, shouldn't we? Is none other than the wonderful Princess Royal, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. Now, the Princess Royal has undertaken this year 457 royal engagements, and coming under just a little shade, but he has been a little bit busy, is none other than His Majesty the King at 452, and then Queen Camilla and all those people. What I like about that particular story is the fact that it just proves, doesn't it, when you look at the Princess Royal, I mean, many people who watch the show know, huge fan of her, and the bottom line is she's a hard worker. She turns up, doesn't look for the publicity, there for the job. And that's really, when you think about it, what our late monarch and of course her father, the Duke of Edinburgh, His Royal Highness Prince Philip, just instilled into her. I think Charles is doing a terrific job. Not bad. A man of 75, 452 engagements in a year. He's outbeating me. Yes. Back as ever to your breaking roll story of the day. Doria, bit of a mystery. But it does appear that Doria, you see, very quickly integrated herself within that inner circle as Harry and Meghan cemented themselves in Frogmore Cottage. The cottage that, according to Meghan, Oprah Winfrey couldn't believe they were living in. I mean, oh dear, it's not a cottage, as I've said to you before, like you and I know. Not one of those tiny little places. It's very nice, and we saw a glimpse of that, didn't we? The cottage that was so tiny on their docu-series. This is the problem, you see, with outright liars. They eventually trip up and put pictures up. It looked nice, cost a lot of money, and allegedly Harry and Meghan had to pay the refurbishment money back, over 2-point-something million. A little bit of a mystery there. Another mystery is this, though. Doria, it appears, according to very well-placed sources, that she was, for a short period of time, on the royal payroll. I know, incredible to think. And as ever, we have to say, allegedly. Now, we did a bit of digging. And the reason being, apparently, is this, that when Doria gave up everything to come over here to the United Kingdom to assist her daughter to manoeuvre herself into the ways of royal life, well, she had to give up, her clients. Apparently, she had some kind of yoga practice or indeed regular clients. All of that had to be put on ice. What was she going to live on? Yes, cue short violin, you know what I'm saying. Now, the other side of the coin is it was her choice. She didn't need to come over, and one might suggest she could have come over on holiday or whatever. But really what's interesting here is it's very, very clear at some point that some remuneration was placed forward. And this has been actually detailed in a certain book. But not only that, verified by certain people. Why on earth, and this is where it gets very baffling, where did that money come from? And I think a lot of people will be interested in this. Who decided that Doria should be on the royal payroll? Feel free, Harry and Meghan, to correct me if this is not the case. I'm sure that would be easily found in royal accounts, but it is detailed there. The mystery for Doria just keeps going on and on. As we told you recently, the hand of friendship was offered on many different occasions. Now, I'm not so sure whether that would be Doria's refusal to receive the hand of friendship, or indeed she wasn't allowed to connect, but one way or another, seemingly, that wasn't to be. But one way or another also, it appears that Doria financially, at some point, allegedly, did quite well out of the British monarchy. Now, what else don't we know? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.